Marlowe, inspired by thoughts of long-ago rural Nippon, built up a densely layered abstract of reds and pinks and purples on a large canvas over which he wrote, "Fashionable people of old Nanawa take a cruise on a luxury barge." Absurd, perhaps, but the act of painting made him think about paintings he could never paint. Call these imaginary paintings. Said Mr. Boots on the lecture circuit about Rembrandt, "His paintings are embedded with compassion. This is more than a trick of light. This is soul." Mr. Boots might have been referring to The Return of the Prodigal Son. Marlowe was thinking how a painting could live, even an imaginary painting, and how his earliest memories seemed to him a series of paintings, alive and perfect. He'd been rifling through an old pack of photographs and had stumbled across a packet of matches. The Blue Onion, in small print, Don and Babe, his uncle and his father. It was a Proustian moment, and as if by some kind of alchemy, he saw a series of nocturnes in oil, in the neo-expressionist style, like Eric Fischl might paint. Little dramas, little narratives, tableaus. The first image was outside his father's first bar. Marlowe might have been 4 at the time. The sign on the window read, "Mac's Tavern." There was a bullet hole through the glass. The next painting was the opening of the Blue Onion. Marlowe, maybe 7, sat on a bar stool. On the cash register was the first dollar bill, taped to mark the occasion. There was a newspaper with a headline about a plane crash. A plane crash that haunted Marlowe, but was a false memory. In these paintings, there was a particular blue, blue onion blue. The blue of the onion in the martini, the dark blue of the padded booths that matched the blue poles that separated the lower dining room from the upper piano bar, the blue that glowed off the jukebox. How much can live in a matchbook? How many tubes of paint? Having grown up in a bar, Marlowe was exposed to adult dramas early. In his teen years, he was a busboy. He was eager to please. A man asked him for a slice of onion, and he rushed to the kitchen and brought him back a slice, holding it in his hand. Marlowe's father laughed about that for years. The Blue Onion was more than a bar. It was a place where lasting friendships were made. In its inception, it revolved around aviation, pilots and stews. Flying was glamorous, and for the flyers, the Blue Onion was the place to be. The next interior night painting Marlowe envisioned was late diners eating Chinese. There was Fritz White, cowboy sculptor. There was the professional wrestlers, Dick the Bruiser, Vern Gagne, the Crusher, Cowboy Bob Ellis. There was Tom the Handyman, who took Marlowe fishing. Snow in June, High Mountain Lake, Tom making coffee. There were the homicide detectives, who also fished, who filled Marlowe in on their latest cases. Next, the bar. Big Ed and Big Larry, nursing buds in t-shirts no matter the season. And in a follow-up painting, enter Midget Jimmy and Susie, his one-legged dwarf bride. We see Big Ed lifting Jimmy onto the stool and Big Larry helping Susie. Next was a more brightly lit scene in the kitchen. Jimmy Wong in crisp white chef's cap with Crazy Stanley cleaver in hand, and One-Eyed Pop, the dishwasher, whose blind eye seemed to explore some unknown galaxy. And with arms laden with plates was Nina the waitress, who dropped a baby on the bus. Everyone at the Blue Onion had their tragedy. Almost blue, almost doing things we used to do. There's a girl here, and she's almost you. Almost, wrote Elvis Costello. There was one drama that Marlowe remembered that appealed to his poetic eye and his innate sense of pathos. There was a man who frequented the Blue Onion with his wife. She was witty and flirty and made Marlowe feel smart, and for some reason, he made her laugh, with tales like the one of the onion in his hand. And that added to the enjoyment of her husband. They would order fillets, which came with onion rings on red-hot metal plates, and they'd order blue onion martinis with the blue onions skewed on a sword, and if you drank 5, you got a tie pin. And people drank 5 martinis in a night back then. Later, they might go up and sing around the piano bar. Marlowe never knew if they were really married, but something happened and they split up. The man tried to recreate the ambiance with other women. Same steaks, same blue onions. And on this night, it was cold, winter in Denver, snow blowing in as people came through the door bundled in parkas. Marlowe always hated the cold. The man sat at his usual booth with his new date, same rituals, including Marlowe attempting to be charming. But this woman didn't laugh, and it had nothing to do with him. She was uncomfortable too. And the man kept a brave face saying, "Oh, isn't she great? Isn't she wonderful?" And it was such a brittle charade. In the background, Marlowe could hear Reggie at the piano, maybe Ramblin' Rose or "Roll out the barrel, we'll have a barrel of fun." But there would be no barrel of fun for this fellow. Still, Marlowe liked the guy. He was a doctor, a dentist, something respectable. Investments or sales, and he needed a friend. We're all fools in love, and on this night he was working so hard to keep up the pretense and failing miserably and getting particularly drunk. Not enough to earn a tie clip, but Marlowe gave him his and clipped it on. They were really cool with those thin ties, and the man was grateful Marlowe made the effort. It meant a lot to the guy, Marlowe could tell. And in the imaginary painting, Marlowe posed the man with his face obscured and a hand next to the tie clip, maybe touching his heart. Almost blue, almost you.